One of my 2026 goals was to create a different sort of content, and for me that different sort of content is going to be YouTube or BookTube content. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Amy. I actually make shorter form content over on TikTok more than anything at Tales of a Bookshelf, but as usual I like to push myself into doing things that I've never done before, and hence a BookTube channel. I did think about making like the perfect first video, but I know there's a lot of stuff that goes into BookTube videos, and I think for me more of this process is actually going to be learning how to learn what I need to do on BookTube in terms of like editing and scripting and filming and everything in between, but also learning how to actually like the content that I usually make over on TikTok slightly longer. Giving myself space to actually yap about the books that I really enjoy is actually going to be quite nice and freeing. I've seen quite a few people do the like BookTube Newbie Tag, and I thought that would be a really great way of like introducing myself on here, but also like introducing my likes and dislikes and why I'm here in the first place. I've seen that people do these like 10 questions on the newbie tag, so let's just start with that. Question number 1 is, why did you start this channel? And like I said in the beginning, I really enjoy TikTok as a form of content creation. It is like short, sharp, snappy, but I also really like to talk about books in depth, and I don't think TikTok gives you that ability to. Yes, you can make longer form content over there, but it's obviously still very much needed to be under 3 minutes mainly. There are books that I read that I really would want to talk to someone about for like 20-30 minutes, like really in depth. Having this like slightly longer form of content is going to enable me to be able to do that easily. Number 2 is, what are some of the unique things you can bring to BookTube? I'm not gonna lie, probably nothing. I'm not unique in any way. I can't even think of what I would bring that would be unique, but I am very fluid in terms of the genres that I will read. This year has been mainly fantasy, romance, romantasy, but next year I really want to get back into classics and also reading indie authors as well. In terms of uniqueness, I think everybody's unique. It's their personality, isn't it? I am definitely slightly a much more reserved person, and I hope that comes across more on here than it does on TikTok. Number 3 is, what are you most excited for? I'm most excited for actually learning new skills. My whole reason of doing these things in the first place is to learn something new. I adore reading. Reading is the thing that like lets me escape from my day-to-day busyness of my job, and learning to edit and learning to film has also been one of those, that part of it as well. I love setting up a camera and being able to chat and then edit everything going forward. So being able to do that in a longer form, like being able to edit like 20 to 30 minute video, is really exciting to me. It means I can actually like a little bit more time into the thought process and making it as best as I can, and then learning new skills going forward. But I'm also so excited about meeting new people on here. I know some people don't go on TikTok, and Instagram hasn't been for me for a number of reasons. I hope to meet a lot of new people here as well, and a lot of like-minded people as well. Number 4, why do you love reading? I love reading because it's the only thing that I can do at the end of the day that allows my brain to just shut off and not worry about things. I have a very busy job, 9 to 5, and I think reading is just something that allows me to escape. I am not an avid TV watcher or a film watcher, so reading is one of my hobbies that allows me to just switch off my brain. But I also really enjoy the community side of reading. I love talking to people about books, whether it's like on social media or whether it's at work or family and friends, like that connection that you have with people in terms of like what books they're reading, what they like, what they dislike. I love that part of reading. It just feels like a completely separate community. Number 5 is, when did you start reading? I started reading when I could read. I am very aware that when I was younger that I had a very like high age reading ability, and I was always jumping ahead in terms of what books I could read in the school library. But the first book that I really like vividly remember reading is the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R. Tolkien, and that was when I was age 10. So my dad actually gave me the books before the films came out, and he said that I could read them if I wanted. And we went on holiday, and lo and behold, I basically binged all 3 books on holiday at the age of 10, and I never ever looked back from that. It was one of my favourite series, and the series that I think really got me into not only books in general, but fantasy as a genre. That book is why I prefer fantasy as a whole, because it's so escapist, but in a way everything relates back to real life, and I can never ever forget that memory. Number 6 is, what kind of books do you like to read? I said I'm very fluid in terms of genre. I do have a preference to fantasy in general. This year has definitely been a fantasy, romance, romantasy genre, but definitely more towards like older leading characters, definitely older FMCs. I am extremely obsessed with T. Kingfisher right now. Like, if you go onto my TikTok, I'm basically an unofficial brand ambassador because her writing just really resonates with me. Her writing style, her prose, her tone in terms of like having this like really dry, witty humour and mix it with just extremely creepy feelings. It's just, the way she writes just tickled my brain. I also have Aphantasia. I think her dialogue and the way she writes her dialogue with her characters just really helps me understand how things are working in terms of like plot and the characters and their growth. And yeah, she is one of my auto-buy authors and I'm absolutely obsessed with her right now. But in terms of that, I also do like a lot of other things. I love Greek mythology, and Madeline Miller's Circe and Songs of Achilles were one of my favourite books as well this year, and also then epic fantasy like The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson that was released this year. Again, one of my favourite books I think so far. Do you like to read a lot of varied books? I would always like try and avoid certain overhyped books, but there are books that are overhyped that I also really enjoy, so I don't ever like want to poo-poo these books just because they are seen as overhyped. Number 7 is, where do you read? I read mainly at home. I have a really bad issue with my attention, and that's not a undiagnosed ADHD, that's just generally I have a bad attention span. So if I'm elsewhere, like outside in public, I cannot concentrate on what I'm reading. So I'd always read at home, whether that's in bed at night or on the sofa when my partner is watching TV. I'll just stick my headphones in and just read. But yeah, I have tried to go to like coffee shops and do nice reading things, but I just can't do it. I literally get so distracted, whether it's from the noise or from something else that's happening or going on. It's always definitely going to be at home. I have also tried to obviously read like traveling. I do travel a lot for work and I do go on planes, but I just find that I get really tired and therefore can't read much. So I've sort of just given up on that sort of endeavour, and home is where I read. Number 8 is, what does your book collection look like? My book collection looks quite messy at the moment. I have only recently just got a actually slightly bigger bookshelf. That is slowly being built up at the moment in terms of like collection, but definitely getting there. I've only just started buying physical books probably at the beginning of 2025. So I was definitely more of a Kindle reader, and now I'm sort of a mix between both, but I am making sure that I only keep the books that I enjoy, and everything else I give to either my little library that I have near me, or I give it to a charity shop, because I don't like keeping books that I don't enjoy. And even like some of the special editions that I have, if I've read them, because I do read my special editions, I will just either sell them on Vinted or I'll give them away, because I would rather keep the books that I want, like that I enjoy, on my shelf than have ones take up space, because I don't have a lot of room. Number 9 is, what are some questions to ask your favourite booktubers? I like this one because I obviously spend a lot more time over on TikTok, and BookTube is very, very new to me. But I think the thing that I would really want to know is, how the hell do you do it? Because I know some people like spit out videos twice a week at least, and they're just so good. Coming up with new ideas, the editing, the filming. I just want to know how you do it. And I know some people do have this as their full-time gig, and I am very aware that I don't have that luxury, but I think it would also be good to know like how or why they started, whether it was because they were on another platform and they thought long-form content was much more suitable for them, or whether there's some hints and tips that they would give to newbies like me. And number 10 is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think for me, and I think this is the same for every content that you make, especially over on TikTok as well, but it's trying to find your voice in a niche that is quite oversaturated. I think as well as that, finding the time to sit down, record and edit longer form content is going to be definitely harder for me. I have said a 9 to 5 and sometimes that overruns and sometimes I'm traveling, so being able to sit down and do this is going to be a luxury, I think. So I'm not going to push myself hard, but at least give myself a goal of a minimum of 2 videos a month, and I think that's probably a good enough challenge to overcome for 2026. Hopefully. My stomach is rumbling. That's it. That's the 10 BookTube Newbie Tag questions that I managed to pilfer off somebody. But I'm really looking forward to sitting down and doing more of these, and hopefully get to know some of you guys as well. I definitely think this is going to be a very interesting challenge. Like, not only include like recording and editing these, but also reading the TBR that I'm slowly gaining. Wish me luck for 2026, and yeah, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, follow, do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to force you. And you can follow me over on TikTok at Tales of a Bookshelf. Thanks for watching.